Hello, my name is Carl for now, and I'm gonna do the Python language, and I'm gonna do the question 1 and question 6 to 11. And my group names are Solomon and Jess. So basically, okay. We're gonna go to question 1. Question 1, classify your language, which is the Python. Python is a multi-paradigm programming language, which means it supports multiple programming paradigms. The primary paradigms that Python embraces include the imperative and procedural. Python supports imperative programming, where you describe the steps that the program should take to achieve a specific goal. It allows you to use statements to change a program state. It is also an object-oriented. Python is a fully object-oriented programming language. It supports classes, objects inheritance, and encapsulation. Many aspects of Python programming, especially when working with libraries and frameworks, are influenced by an object-oriented approach. It is also a functional. It's including the first-class function, high-order functions, and the ability to use functions as arguments and return values. You can also use features like lambda functions and list comprehension that align with functional programming. So we move on to question 6. What kind of selective statements are supported? For example, if switch, are they all equivalent? Explain how they differ and how they are alike by writing code in each of the syntactic possibilities for a single problem with a selection solution. So in Python, the primary selective statement is the if statement. Python does not have a switch statement like some other programming language, such as C or Java. Instead, Python relies on if, elif, else construct to achieve similar functionality, which is from this snap print screen. We can see that the score is 75, and then it just keep going to the if else statement, and then it's just gonna type grade is C. That's basically it. So question 7, if there is a case switch statement, what happens when an unspecified choice is evaluated for the expression controlling the case statement? What kinds of expression are permissible for controlling the case statement and why? So as again, there is no switch in Python, but if there was a switch-like construct in Python and unspecified choice was evaluated, it would likely depend on the specific implementation of the switch statement. For controlling the case statement, permissible expression in other languages are often limited to integral types, such as integers or characters. This is because a switch statement is essentially a jump table, and using non-integral types could lead to ambiguities or inefficiencies. So basically, we have here is this is a function. So basically, if we do like case 1, case 2, I can't do the case default, but at least so I'm gonna call the switch case, which is just a self construct function, case value, and then cases, and then if the cases is 1, then I'll call the function case 1, and if the cases is 2, then I will call the function case 2. Apparently I cannot call the case default, so that's basically it, and then the selected case, and then it will return the result. Okay, for question 8, what kinds of iterations are supported? For example, for, while, repeat until, do, for each, etc. Are they all equivalent? Explain how they differ and how they are alike by writing code in each of the syntactic possibilities for a single problem with an iterative solutions. So in Python, there are primarily two types of iterations. It's for loops and while loops. Python does not have a repeat until loop or a for each loop in the same way as some other programming languages. The for loop in Python is quite versatile and can be used to iterate over elements of a sequence or a repeat block of code on a specific number of times. The while loop is used for general purpose looping based on a condition. So here's the example of for loop. In this example, the for loops iterates over the numbers 1 to 5 using the range function to generate the sequence. And here is the example of while loop. In this example, the while loop continues to execute the block of codes as long as the condition is counter less than or equal to 5 is true. The counter is incremented within the loop. Question 9. Is it possible to exit from any of this iterative construct before the natural end is reached? If so, how and where does the controller resume? If not, tell such an exit might be added to the language. Yes, it is possible to exit from any of the iterative constructs in Python before reaching the natural end using the break statement. The break statement is used to terminate the innermost loop in which it appears. For example, here, as long as it equals to 3, it will break, it will exit the code. And for the while loop is right here as after it get equal to 3 and then it will break, it will exit. For question 10, are there limits for arithmetic computations such as minimal or maximal integer? What happens if you ask to perform computation that cause overflow? Explain what kind of numbers are built in, what limitation they have with regard to precision, and how they are. So in Python, integers have arbitrary precision, meaning they can grow as large as your system memory allows. There is no fixed limit like in some other languages. This allows you to perform arithmetic operations on very large numbers without worrying about overflow. So for integers, introduce an integer type called int that can represent numbers of arbitrary size. So we have a large integer over here, and this is what the system allows. And for the floating point numbers, this is just the example of um, how you declare the float variable, but it's also the same as what the system memory allows. So regarding overflow, since Python integers have arbitrary precision, you won't encounter overflow errors like you might in languages with fixed size integers. However, keep in mind that very large integers will require more memory and may slow down the operations. So for question 11, what kind of operators are supported? Unary, binary, ternary? How are the arithmetic expression implemented? Infix, prefix, or postfix? What are the operator precedence rules? What are the operator associative rules? What is the order of operand evaluation? So here Python supports various types of operators. It supports unary, binary, and ternary. So arithmetic expressions in Python are typically implemented using infix notation, where operators are placed between their operands. So operator precedence determines the order in which operator are evaluated in the expression. An operator follows the usual precedence rule observed in the mathematics. For example, multiplication and division have higher precedence than addition and subtraction. So here's a brief summary of operator precedence from highest to lowest. I'm not gonna go to all of that, but here's the list just in case. So most operators in Python are left to right associative, meaning they are evaluated from left to right when multiple operators of the same precedence appear in a sequence. However, exponentation is right to left associative. So the difference is only from the exponentiation. So this one is gonna do the first one for 3 raised to 2, and then after that it will do the 2 raised to whatever the 3 raised, 2 raised to 9, the answer from this one, which is here. So in Python, the order of operand evaluation is from left to right, basically. And this is my presentation. My name again is Carl for now. Thank you.